clearly Kobe Bryant is taking a shot at Warriors fans, which he is qualified to do. Because from the time that 2 years before Kobe Bryant was drafted, up until 6 years ago, because the Warriors have been to the playoffs the last 6 years, the Warriors have been to the postseason one time in 18 years. One time in 18 years. So when you have been to the postseason one time in 18 years, you're clearly going to fall off the map. We understand that, particularly when you're in Oakland, California, which is the home of Raider Nation at that particular moment in time. And to a lesser degree, even the Oakland A's were balling to a respectable degree anyway. So we understand where Kobe is coming from. But here's why he's wrong. Because the assumption is that the Golden State Warriors are going to go away. And I say, pump the brakes on that one. I don't give a damn if they lose KD, if they keep KD, or if they lose KD and get somebody else, or whatever the case may be. As long as you have the greatest shooting backcourt that I have ever seen in the history of basketball together, you're going to be relevant. Why? Because you're going, first of all, Steph Curry's box office. Make no mistake about it. You walk through the turnstiles to see the kind of show this guy is capable of putting on. But then you have to take this into consideration. He's the greatest recruiting tool you have. Not only is he the greatest shooter that we've ever seen, that he's a marksman extraordinaire, that him in combination with Klay Thompson are sniper extraordinaires, but especially in the case of Steph Curry, he's an affable superstar. He's personable. He gets along with everybody. You know, they're selfless. They're giving. And as a result, you're always going to be able to attract that third wheel who could potentially be a number 1 or 2 wheel, you know, meaning Kevin Durant, somebody like that. As long as Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are there, you are going to be able to attract somebody, which is going to make you incredibly relevant. And, oh, by the way, they are younger than LeBron James.
I think also think Kobe is wrong about Warriors fans, but for a different reason. You're talking about the people who happen to be there now and what you can parlay that into going forward. I think there's been a structural change in the country, in what we do and where the centers of power are. That means that the Warriors can be relevant going forward unless they're totally mishandled. You know, the biggest market in the country, the most important ones here in New York City, it's only through gross mismanagement that the Knicks aren't a much bigger deal because the team always stinks because it has a bad owner. The Lakers had a lot of things going for them. Not only were they Hollywood and showbiz, warm weather, they're the second biggest city in the country and they have perfect weather all year, but also L.A. is the portal through which we exported the number one thing we really export, which is culture. We export our culture through Los Angeles, through film, TV, et cetera, all over the world. But something's changed about the area that the Golden State Warriors play in. Tech now, which is centered. Silicon Valley is much more now, much more important than it's ever been. It represents a much larger percentage of our economy. Mm-hmm. Unless that goes somewhere, if that's permanent now, Stephen A., you know as well as I, part of the attraction of playing for the Golden State Warriors is guys sit around talking about where they're investing and the money that shows up and setting themselves up for life in other ways. So the Warriors are now culturally, they are in a center that the Lakers used to enjoy that the Warriors didn't. LA's not going anywhere either. That will remain attractive to people. But that Silicon Valley area is attractive in a new way that it wasn't in previous generations.
That is a given.
Gives them a huge advantage going forward.
That is a given, which is why somebody will always be interested in coming there. But if the style of play, if the personality that was on the team was the face of the franchise and he was a disgruntled or acerbic personality or whatever the case may be, it would be problematic. Steph Curry is the baby face assassin. Mm-hmm. Everybody, you see him with his little daughter, his beautiful little daughters and what have you, his mama, his daddy, everything. Yeah. I mean, everywhere you turn towards Steph Curry, everything's positive. I mean, it's not a stain on this guy's career. The only thing that has stained him is them damn ankles, okay? Right. That's about it. Outside of that, there is nothing about his personality, there is nothing about his character, and there is damn sure nothing about his game that gives you cause to pause. Steph Curry is the real deal, and because of that, he's going to be an attractive commodity. I would make the argument he's more attractive The thought of playing with him is more attractive than the thought of playing with LeBron.
Well, by the way, obviously, look at what they've attracted at Golden State.
Solid game and personality.
But my question is, why did he even wind up on the Warriors? The Warriors are the type of organization, because of where they are, what they reflect, their ownership, their front office. They're the kind of organization who believe they could build a championship team around Steph Curry.
Wait a minute. You're asking why did he end up there?
Yeah.
Everybody and their grandmother knew that he was going to end up there because he's one of the great shooters, and that's the direction. He was supposed to get drafted by the Knicks, who had the 8th pick,
right.
1 pick later.
But why
do you have to bring that up? I was in a good mood.
But wait a minute. The Warriors were the team who believed we can build a championship team around a little non-defensive guy who shoots from way too far away player. How many other teams would have really believed that, doubled down, and done it, and built around him? The Warriors did.
There is such a thing as idiocy. And that would be on the part of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who had not one, but 2 picks in the top 7 and passed on Steph Curry with both of them.
Right.
One for Johnny Flynn out of Syracuse, and I forgot who the hell the other person was.
I'm just saying, Stephen A., whether you and I would have done the same thing or someone else would have done the same thing, it's much more obvious now that you can build a championship team around Steph Curry than it was at the time that they started to do it.
Well, that's always that much obvious, unless you're 7 feet, 300 plus pounds, or you're Akeem the Dream Olajuwon. Remember, he was picked ahead of Michael Jordan. Why? Because you can't teach 7 feet.
Sure.
That's why. So those kind of things happen. But usually when it comes to a mercurial talent, you either have to be massive in size, you have to be a Kobe, MJ kind of person, all right, or just something out of this world like Allen Iverson, who was taken with the #1 overall pick. Steph Curry was respected and loved, and everybody
You're shortchanging the vision of that organization. They have vision, they have guts, they take smart, calculated risks, and they see the future. They don't just react.